People are like, listen, buddy, if you're not doing it and you're not doing it by 9 a.m., what the fuck is wrong with you? You got to be doing it. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Anthony, as we sit here recording this, it is the holiday season.
That's right.
And one of the measures of the holiday season is
how many times you watch Batman Returns.
Yes. Do you watch Batman Returns? Well, I don't even know why I'm asking you this. I know the answer already. I was going to say Batman Returns over Die Hard, but
yes,
you're a Batman Returns man.
I fucking love Batman Returns.
I mean,
I think it's a perfect film.
It's pretty good. Pretty good Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Get y'all ready for the season. Anyway, another measure, in addition to times watched of Batman Returns, another measure of the holiday season is invitations to holiday parties.
Oh, no, is it?
I think so. There's holiday parties here. There's holiday parties there. There's holiday parties everywhere.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't tell me that. I haven't been invited to shit.
Well, to be frank, I haven't either. But one assumes that
but you have
more
kids.
Popular folks than we.
Yeah, that's the thing is you have kids and you live on a snow-covered mountain in the middle of nowhere or something. I don't know where you live anymore. But you have children. Once you have children, it's like if you don't get invited to stuff, you can just go, well, that's my fault for having kids. But
you're describing me as profoundly uncool is what you're saying.
No, I'm describing you as simply a parent. You're removed from the equation.
Same thing.
You're removed from the equation of life. No, you're cool to other parents, which many of the world is parents.
Yeah.
If I was to guess,
that's my target demo.
Yeah. What percentage of the world is parents? I'd say a lot.
Yeah.
Probably half the world is parent, maybe more.
Not as many as our kids.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Or are there?
There's more children of parents.
But there are multiple generation of parent. Out and about. I don't know. It's tough to say, but what I'm saying is you've just been removed from the equation without your knowledge or desire to be removed, which is fine. I'm not getting invited to things, and that's fucked.
Well, here's what I would retort that with. I think you and I are kindred spirits in that we want to be invited.
Yes.
But we don't want to go.
No.
Right.
But I want to be invited. And now you're telling me that it's the measure of the season. I already wanted to be invited.
Yes, but I do not want to be obligated to attend.
No, but what you just told me is we're not even talking about attending yet. I don't know what your story's about. We're not even talking about attending, but what you just told me is the measure is how many things are you invited to? And now you've thrown me into a fucking tailspin, bud.
I really regret that.
I haven't been invited to shit.
I regret it not because of how bad you feel, but because of how diverted we are from my trajectory, initial trajectory.
No, you know? I know. It probably has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but I'll tell you what. I don't feel great about it. We can move on, but I don't feel great about it.
I apologize. Here's the thing. Here's my point is that you and I would posit a significant portion of our listeners are probably in the same camp of lovely to get the invitation.
Sure.
I now am obligated to decline in some way, and it's going to make me feel bad to decline. It made me feel good to get the invitation. It makes me feel bad not to get the invitation. I like getting the invitation, but now I also have to feel bad declining the invitation.
Oh.
Because I don't want to go.
Right. I don't feel bad about declining the invitation. I think that's where you and I differ. I think I'm beyond feeling bad at this point about declining the invitation. And that's why I probably don't get invited to things anymore.
I mean,
like if we had to look, this is a science podcast, and we're not going to say that correlation is causation because we would never do that. But I think we have a strong hypothesis for why I don't get invited to things. Listen, here's what I say.
Never go to things.
Send me the invite. Right.
Yeah.
And I guarantee to you, send me the invite. I won't go. You don't even have to count me in. I promise you. You don't even have to plan for the possibility or the eventuality of me. You can just invite me, send it as an extra, and just be like, that guy's not coming. We don't have to buy, I don't know, we don't have to make deviled eggs for that guy. He's not coming.
Right. That's one fewer deviled egg.
Yeah. Take out 2 of those deviled eggs, save them from later. That guy's not coming. We don't have to buy him the silly party hat or whatever. You just send me the invitation.
Well, that makes you special because today's story is all about that phenomenon. The phenomenon that evidently you don't experience, but I certainly do, which is I feel awful turning down the invitation. And according to this research, most people do.
Yeah.
When you have to say no to an invitation, you think, they're going to be so mad at me. They're going to be so disappointed. I'm never going to get invited to anything ever again. I don't want to go to this, but I feel like I have to because they invited me. And if I don't, I will disappoint them. It'll be awful for everybody.
Yeah. You know what I would say to that feeling is get yourself a chronic illness. That's what I did. I have a sickness from which I will never recover. And it's great. If I don't go to it.
Good excuse.
Not only is it a great excuse, I don't feel bad about not going to things. It was
the doctor prescribed me, or the doctor diagnosed me with a case of the scusies.
Yeah, it was. Listen, if I can't go to something, I can't go. If my frail human form says I'm not going to a party, I don't feel guilty for that because I'm sick. And so that's what I would suggest to everybody: is get a permanent illness from a plague, and then you'll be fine.
But you're solving the problem that we haven't even established very well yet. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. So, but I do understand the guilt that you're talking about. I do understand the idea of like you don't necessarily want to go and do all the things that are associated with a big social outing. However, you know that a friend invited you. You know that friends are going to be there. You know that you should be doing social things. You should be spending time with friends and family and your loved ones. You should be making those memories, all of that stuff. You know, if I go to the party, I'll probably feel good once I get there. It's just such a hassle to be there.
And if I don't go, it's going to be bad. If I don't go, everyone will be disappointed. I may not get invited ever again to anything ever again.
Yeah, probably not.
This is a job for science because we have described something that's kind of a vague feeling. But you know what we need, Anthony? We need science to quantify this and tell us what's going on. Enter the story posted on our Discord by our friend Z Synergy Mansfield.
What's up, Synergy?
Synergy doing that good work. This is a new study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, Interpersonal Relations and Group Processes. You know it well. You're a subscriber.
Yeah. I know it because it's the journal that I subscribe to with the shortest and easiest to remember name.
Yeah. The JPSPIRGP, as you call it.
That's right. The JPSPIRG.
Exactly.
And then people say Gesundheit, and I say, no, that's another one. I get that one every third week.
I also enjoy Gesundheit. Yeah, that's a good. This is American Psychological Association. This is real deal. This is a real deal journal, real deal study about saying no. This is the title, by the way, of the study. Saying no, the negative ramifications from invitation declines.
Oh, the negative ramifications. Wow. Not just the way we feel about it, but this study implies that it's going to look into the actual negative ramifications.
Well, the hypothesis of this study, there are two. The hypothesis of this study is that we overestimate the negative ramifications from invitation decline.
Disagree.
That they are less severe than we think.
Disagree.
And the second hypothesis that they're testing with this study is that the reason for the fact that we overestimate the negative ramifications is because we assume the inviter that is receiving our decline is thinking more about the decline than our thought process before the decline. It's a little
the NoFX album.
Yes, you know it.
Yeah.
This is fascinating to me. This study is fascinating to me because it is so. I'm reading the actual journal article here.
Okay, smarty pants.
Well,
okay, you're not just reading a two paragraph
Guardian article.
Yeah, you're not just reading some blog. You're not reading some BuzzFeed fucking what's the synopsis? Yeah,
listicle.
You're not listicling it. You're reading a real study, huh?
Synergy sent us the article in the Guardian, which is, like you said, about 4 paragraphs.
Yeah.
But no slide on Synergy. This is how one submits stories. But I went and read the exact journal entry, which is many, many, many pages. And because I do that hard work.
That's right.
I'm not bragging, but I am the one of us that does that hard work.
That's true. No, you do read in your native language. It's very impressive.
Yeah. And the way it is broken down, let me just read you the first few sentences of the, what do they call it? Not the synopsis, the
abstract.
The abstract. Thank you. This is the first few sentences. Yeah. I do that hard work for the first time in 700 episodes. All right. Here's the first few sentences of the abstract.
Yeah.
People are frequently invited to join others for fun social activities.
Disagree.
Period.
Disagree. Already disagree. Go on.
Already contentious, this science article. Okay. Listen to the second sentence 2.
Yeah.
They may be invited to lunch.
Okay.
To attend a sporting event.
Of course. Sure.
To watch the season finale of a television show. And so forth.
And so those are the 3 social situations. We're all familiar with the 3 big social situations: lunch, sports, and a season finale.
Sentence 3. Invitees, those who are on the receiving ends of the invitations, sometimes accept invitations from inviters.
No.
Those who extend invitations.
That's okay. So
but wait, sentence not over.
Okay.
But other times, invitees decline.
Period. The science is sound on this one, I think.
It's really undisputable at this point.
If you get invited, I think this is why so many people want to go to like whatever the big final polo match of the year is, where all the famous and rich people go to. This is why, because it's all 3 of the social situations. It's a lunch, it's a sporting event, it's a season finale.
It truly is the grandest invitation of them all.
Yeah, if you can get invited to like the Kentucky Derby, like that's why people dress up for it. Like a polo match or a Kentucky Derby, like that's the biggest thing you can do, because you're doing all 3 of the social situations. There are only 3, and you can get them all done at once, and then you don't have to do anything for the rest of the week, probably.
Or my semi-annual Survivor lunch, where
only one person survives. Where you hunt the most dangerous game, your friends.
That's right. I absolutely adore how science has to be, like, if you're publishing in this journal, there can be no ambiguity. There can be no misinterpretation. There must be clarification on the most self-evident points. Right?
Here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and say that it didn't necessarily need to be written that way. This is like you getting a children's book for your kids to explain how friendship works. This does not sound like I've read some abstracts where they're like, we have to state the obvious. This is pretty much like, I don't know. This sounds like a book that you would get for a kid, or a classic Hollywood film about like somebody who grew up like, oh, she's the girl who does the washing. and nobody's her friend. She's simply the girl who does the washing. And it would be like Audrey Hepburn. And it would be like and somebody like some fancy dude from Hollywood, like a Cary Grant, or on a rare occasion, a Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
You know, would show up and just be like, oh, you don't understand. Occasionally, people go to social events all the time. Do they? Of course. Why, just the other day, I went to a lunch and a sporting event with a friend. My stars. People can have friends in that way. Yes, they can.
It's the Pygmalion, right?
Yes.
It's the Pygmalion. This is an invitation to a soiree. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes I am invited to soirees.
Sometimes I even turn them down. What? It's okay. It's okay. Occasionally one must turn them down. I can't imagine. I'm just the future Princess of Monaco. What do I know about being pretty and popular?
So this abstract then says, the present work sheds light on one factor that makes it so hard to decline invitations.
Hey, so here we go. I just want to, because this is exactly the sort of person who would come out of nowhere and comment after not commenting on 700 episodes. I know it's Grace Kelly and not Audrey Hepburn that was the Princess of Monaco. I was simply making a thing about how.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I was going to get it. I was going to get it.
Yeah.
I was going to get it.
That is only one person who would have gotten upset about that. But I'm glad we headed that off at the pass.
No, but it's the only person that would have gotten mad at it is exactly the sort of person who would have commented as well. And here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to make any assumptions, but we're talking about today people getting invited to social functions. The person who's going to comment that at me probably doesn't get invited to a lot of social functions. Anyway. Or
they're the descendant of the Kelly estate.
That's right.
One or the other. Either way. Okay, so we got to dig into this because this is some hard-hitting scientific research. First of all, they did a pilot study, which is only in the supplemental materials, so I didn't really get that far. But the pilot study, they found that 77% of respondents reported accepting an invitation to a social activity they did not want to attend only because they were concerned about the negative ramifications that would have emerged if they had declined.
Now,
77%. I think that number is low.
I think I don't think it's low. Okay. And I know we're not at the point where we're digging into this too far, but I've got a hypothesis. This feels like a lot of studies that we have talked about before where we as people center ourselves.
Yes.
Well, if I don't go, they're going to spend I know nobody thinks about it to this extent, but if I don't go, they're going to spend the whole night looking around and being like, oh no, where's Anthony? Why didn't Anthony come?
You cast yourself at the center of the drama.
That's right.
Everything revolves around your participation or not. Whereas the people at the party will be interacting with the people at the party. They won't be thinking about the people who aren't at the party.
Yeah. I mean, you might get oh, hey, where's blank? I thought they were coming tonight. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, all right. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's
that's accurate. But I think we're jumping ahead of the hard-hitting science here.
Oh, no, of course.
Really
we got to let the science hit hard.
What this podcast is about. Yeah.
So 77% felt like they had to go to this thing. And so they went to the thing because they thought.
They're just identifying the problem here. The problem is a lot of people self-report that they have accepted invitations they didn't want to accept simply because they were worried about the bad stuff that would happen if they didn't.
Right.
Right. So that's the problem they're addressing here. It's like, is this accurate? Is our perception of bad stuff happening if we say no true?
And
their hypothesis is no, it's not. And so
I think out of the 77%, I think only 7% of those people are actually missed.
Yeah. Well, but I also think 77% is low. I think I would guess that most people have accepted invitations they didn't want to accept. I mean, obviously most is 77%, but I would say it's even higher than 77. You go to something you don't really want to go to because you're worried about what will happen if you don't.
Yeah, but you're a people pleaser married to a people pleaser.
That's true.
So it makes sense that you would think that, You know what I mean?
I guess that's true.
Like I think you and your partner both are the sort of people that if you don't go to a party, you're like, oh, I feel bad that we didn't go because they invite us and they've invited us a couple times. And I just feel like we're being bad friends and like blah, blah, blah. Yep. Like you're the sort of people that will have that conversation with each other and reaffirm that position to one another. You're
not wrong.
So that's true. So I think it makes sense that you think that. I think 77% is not a high. I think number one, it is a high number. I don't think it's too high, but it's a pretty high number. That's a lot of guilt people are feeling over something like not going to a sporting lunch.
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy it. It's certainly something I've felt intensely. So maybe
of course.
I'm projecting.
Well, you're a sweet guy. Hey, buddy, you're a sweet guy, bud.
Thanks.
Well, I appreciate how much you feel about other people.
Aw, kind of you to say. Mm-hmm. All right. So how did we go about testing this? Well, the first thing they point out in this journal entry is that nobody has really studied this. There's been a lot of people who have studied the feeling of obligation when we are asked to do something that is negative, that is inherently negative. Like, hey, will you donate money? In negative in that it requires sacrifice, right? Or, hey, will you help me move? Or, hey, will you, do something that is already a chore or a heavy lift in regard to, persuading people to do something that is hard for them to want to do in the first place.
But this is just pleasant. Will you come do a pleasant thing?
Exactly. This is the first, to their knowledge, they point out, it's the first time that anybody has studied, hey, this is a great fun thing that everybody would want to do. How hard is it to say no to that?
Can I tell you why nobody studied it? It's because in order to study it, you have to throw a party and nobody wants to fucking do it. Nobody wants to fucking do it. In order for this study to work, you have to invite people to a party. A party has to exist. You have to create, you don't just have to go to the function, you have to make the function. And probably not just one function. If you really want to study this across diverse groups of people or have a large body of data for this study, you have to throw multiple fucking parties. Fuck that.
No one wants to
do that. They'll build another collider before they'll do that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They'll be like, well, listen, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a study where we build a yurt in the middle of nowhere and pretend we're on Mars and we'll live there for a year and a half because we'd rather do that than throw one party.
Kevin has done 14 will you help me move studies. Mm-hmm. And not a single I'm throwing a party study. What's that about?
That's right.
Well, Kevin moves a lot. What can I say? He's
Kevin's listen, we can all be honest. Kevin, great scientist, bad tenant.
Horrible
roommate.
The dude gets evicted.
Super bad roommate.
And also not a great friend. Just buy a pickup truck. Just because I have a pickup truck and you don't, Kevin, doesn't mean I'm your on-hand U-Haul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Kevin, let me tell you something, bud. The U-Haul is the cheapest part of the whole thing.
Yeah, seriously.
It's $40, Kevin. Get the van. Just get the van, Kevin. Don't make me
grandma's attic. The whole grandma's attic situation. Get that.
Get that.
All right. So what I'm about to outline are a 5-part study.
All right.
Are you ready for this? We're digging in. We're digging in hard. Yes. Yeah. But by the way,
I feel like we've had studies about real shit that matters that haven't gotten this 5 points.
That's what I love about this so much. It's how intensely serious this is being taken by these researchers. Like, what do we have to solve this whole dilemma about getting invited to fun things and not wanting to go? It's a scourge on the world.
And honestly, according to my TikTok feed, that's all anybody thinks about. So they're actually doing big work here.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why I got inspired, it's TikTok. I have to read, before we even get into the 5 studies, I have to read you yet another couple of sentences that just illustrate the delightful part of how unambiguous they need things to be. All right, ready for this? Here's how they lay out the problem. An invitee declining an inviter's invitation involves a 2-stage process.
All right.
First, There are the internal thoughts and deliberations that occur inside of the invitee's head as they consider whether to accept or to decline the invitation.
I love that they're like going into the nature of consciousness. I hope they go. I hope they really go into. It's like we define consciousness as like we've decided in this study.
They inadvertently solve one of the great mysteries of the existence.
They figure out where the human soul is in order to solve this problem.
Second, this is first internal deliberation. Second, there is the act of the invitee communicating to the inviter that they are declining the invitation.
Can I tell you what, Jeff? Not always.
What? No. Yeah, it's true. You just don't show up.
Not always. Sometimes you just don't show, bud.
But then this next sentence, so great. It's exactly what you just said. This same conceptualization applies to nearly all human behaviors. There are thoughts and there are actions.
Damn. All right, David Hume.
It's so amazing. So the invitation, so all of life. The invitation is existence.
What is life except an invitation? You know what I mean?
It's this is poetry. This isn't science. This is poetry.
There's a graphic on Instagram going around that says just that right now.
That's right.
And it really makes you think. And it shows up on
a pillow.
Shows up on your feed 4 times because they just keep stealing it from each other. It's awful.
All right, 5 studies. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Study 1. 340 something people. 382 people. Divided into 2 groups.
Okay.
As you might expect, the inviter and the invitee. All right. Both groups are asked to imagine their friend Alex, an imaginary friend Alex.
Okay.
Alex, for half the group, Alex has invited you to go with them to the museum.
I love that.
Yeah.
I never get invited to the museum. All I want to do is
go to the museum.
Yes.
And see the new exhibit at the museum.
Yes. I go. What happens if I...
that's not, you can't be in the study if you say yes. That's the whole point.
Oh. Who doesn't want to go to the museum?
You don't. For the study.
I don't know. It's a bad premise. The whole study is based on a bad premise. Of course I want to go to the museum. I don't even know who Alex is, but he's my best friend now.
All right. So then you're in group 2. You're inviting Alex to the museum.
No, that would never happen.
I don't care for Alex.
No, I like Alex a lot. Listen, Alex is great. I just don't have the energy to organize a thing.
All right. Well, then you can't be in the study, but 387 people were in 2 groups. One got an invitation from Alex.
Okay.
The other had to invite Alex. This is all imagined. Just
nobody gets to go to the museum.
Nobody's going. There's no actual museum.
Not even like at the end of the study, like, thank you for participating. Let's all go to the museum.
To the museum. And yes, no, the museum is a lie.
Wow. It's the worst part of this study. Go on. 387 people.
Then after imagining this, all of the 387 people had to fill out a questionnaire measuring their feelings to 6 different questions on a scale of 1 to 7. 1 not at all, 7 very. Okay, so here are the six categories. Right, anger. How angry would Alex be from you declining their invitation? Or how angry would you be at Alex from Alex declining your invitation?
I feel like the sort of friend that invites you to the museum doesn't have room for that much anger in their life. I feel like they're probably pretty cool.
Pretty well adjusted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anger. First is anger.
Yeah.
Second, lack of care about the inviter. How much would you declining Alex's invitation suggest to Alex that you don't care about them? Or alternatively, how much would Alex declining your invitation suggest Alex doesn't care about you?
Sure.
3, disappointment. How disappointed would either of you be?
Right.
4, relationship harm. How much would you declining Alex's invitation harm the relationship between the two of you, or vice versa?
I'll tell you what, the first couple times, not much, but I can tell you from experience after that, a lot.
And then the last 2 are likelihood of the inviter not offering future invitations and likelihood of an inviter not accepting future invitations. So if I turn this down, are they not going to, if I'm saying no, next time when it's my birthday, are they going to say no as a payback? You know?
God, you can only hope so.
So these are our 6 criteria.
Okay. Can I tell you?
Are they never going to invite me to anything ever again?
Right.
Or if I invite them to something, are they never going to say yes ever again?
Sure. Here's the problem with this study. We all know that Alex is imaginary.
Right.
There's no, the social pressure isn't there. What you're doing is you're asking people to do a thought experiment. And the problem with asking people to do a thought experiment is people are bad at that inherently. Self-reporting.
I agree 100%.
Self-reporting is already flawed, but self-reporting in a situation with no stakes where you don't actually change the real psychological, emotional, or physical conditions for a test subject, well, you're just asking people to wax poetic, really.
100%. Now, the results of the study indicated that people seemed to think that, like, the one half of the people that were declining the invitation thought Alex was going to be super pissed and would never invite them to anything ever again. Okay. And the people on the other half that got a decline from Alex were like, oh, no, it's no big deal. I'm not going to feel any differently about Alex. So the hypothesis was confirmed in that it was skewed. We overestimate how much we think the inviter is going to be mad when we're the inviter. We don't really care.
Yeah, but listen, man. That's a lot of that in that second group that, oh, Alex declined. Oh, that's fine. I don't mind. No, you're imagining how cool you are.
Exactly.
You're imagining how cool you are. In reality, if you invite a friend to the museum and the day of the going to the museum comes and Alex goes, oh, I'm sorry, man, I can't make it to the museum. You're pissed. You're bummed. That's the problem with this imaginary study.
I agree. I want to say one thing I forgot to mention, which is in all these studies, the reason they stipulated the reason has to be, I just want to stay home and relax.
Yeah.
So you don't have a good reason. It's not like I got a dentist appointment.
Right.
It's I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Really. Okay. So I love that you poked that hole in it, because I did too. And so did the researchers, which brings us to study 2. Study 2 says, okay, we've established our baseline here of the imaginary situation. Now we're going to recruit real life couples. So we get 2 people. They got 200 people that are part of actual couples.
Is this a key party situation?
Yeah. And then they all put their keys in a bowl.
Huh. All right. Good study.
Everybody put on a mask.
Now the study's getting somewhere.
You get invited to a key party. Are you going to say yes or no?
I'd rather go to the museum.
So this one is amazing. Couples in a room. They go, okay, one of you leave the room. They leave the room. Once they're out of the room, they ask the remaining
back.
Never come back.
And that's
they ask the remaining person to think of a thing that you would invite your partner to. What is something that plausible that you would invite your partner to? Think of what you would do. Like, hey, let's go to a movie. Let's go eat. Let's go hike. Write up an invitation as a text on your phone. Leave the room. Don't say anything to the partner. They swap. The other person comes in. The text arrives.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were they don't know anything past this. They're instructed to decline the invitation with the phrase, no, I just want to stay home and relax.
Now, this is a bit of, I don't know how to tell you this, but here's the deal. Jeff, if you cover your face and you say, where did Jeff go? I've sort of figured out the game we're playing. Do you know what I mean? I've sort of figured out the game we're playing through deductive reasoning. Do you see where the flaw in this study might lie?
They were not told what was going on at all.
No, of course
not.
Leave
the room.
But then you leave the room.
Get a mysterious text. Come back.
During when that person is alone in the room with the researcher. Oh, hey, while I'm here doing this thing that's just me and the researcher that you had to leave the room for. By the way, I just thought of it. Why don't we go to the museum? Then, okay, cool. Now switch places. Then your partner goes in and goes, hey, did you just get a text that said, hey, you want to go to the museum?
Yeah. How did you know that?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
That's so weird. How did you know? Yeah. Decline the text. What?
Yeah. But don't tell them that we told you to decline it.
Oh, I already said yes because I love the museum. I said yes when I was out there. No, you had me in a waiting room with nothing to do, and my husband texted me. I answered immediately. Why wouldn't I? Do you not answer immediately when your partner texts you? Especially if you're not doing anything, it feels like there's no excuse.
Hey, they knew exactly where I was and what I was doing, which is nothing, right over there.
Hey, by the way, what were you guys talking about? Because it feels like maybe you were talking about inviting me to the museum.
No, what? Why? What? No, this is a study about people changing places in a room.
This study, the marshmallow study only works on 5-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you leave a 5-year-old alone with a marshmallow. You say, don't eat the marshmallow. Like that's, you leave a 45-year-old alone with a marshmallow and don't eat the marshmallow. It's like, oh, the study's about the marshmallow.
Yeah.
What the fuck did they say about this? How did they even justify this dumb shit? In the study? Did they justify the dumb shit? Did they say we got the dumbest people? Did they say we have people with no sense of context clues?
They just describe what they did.
Yeah, sure.
So they instruct the person to decline. Then they swap again. Person who's just received the decline. They ask them to rate the six things from a scale of 1 to 7.
Yeah, I rate them all. I rate them all 1. It's fucking hypothetical. You put them up to it, and then I answered the way you told me to. I give this whole thing a 1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Except for nobody is getting to go to the museum, which is still a problem for me. That's a 7. I want to go to the museum.
But by the way, they specifically said,
yeah, we got idiots. We got dum-dums.
After they self-reported how they felt in anger and all this, then the inviters were told to have their partner return to the room, and together they were given a debrief and told that the invitee was instructed to decline.
And they all went, no way.
They went, oh, thank goodness, because I thought
you're kidding me. You're kidding me. That's wild.
The other thing they made them do, which is, by the way, I just love reading scientific studies. The other thing they made them do is upload a picture of the two of them with the current time displayed in some fashion to verify that both members of the couple were present. It's like we got proof that they were both here at the same time. Anyway.
Cool, guys.
Cool. All right. Study 3.
Way to go, folks.
Well, by the way, the results of study 2, the same as study 1. We think that when we decline, even if we know the partner and it's not some abstract Alex person, we think our partner is going to be super pissed and super unhappy and less inclined to invite us to things. And when we're actually getting the invitation decline, we go, oh, it's no big deal. I'll invite them next time.
Yeah,
we'll do it some other time.
Sure. Listen.
So there you go. We appropriate it's disproportionate.
This is still but this is still hypothetical, and the people still know it's hypothetical. I would imagine that most of the people in that situation are smart enough to know that if you leave the room and immediately get a text and then you come back and they leave the room and they respond, like, come on, like these people are, I got to give them the benefit of the doubt here, Jeff. And I got to say most of these feelings are hypothetical at this point.
All right. That brings us to study 3.
Yeah.
study 3 is different than study 1.
Study 3 is just one of the scientists' birthday. And he just invites everybody to his birthday, and everybody's like, Dave, do you just want people to come to your birthday? No, it's not about that.
It's not about
you know, I'm not a big birthday guy. Yeah, you say that every year, Dave. You say you're not a big birthday guy, and then you seem really disappointed when you come into work on your birthday and nobody's planned anything. If you want us to plan something, Dave, just say so. No, I'm not a big birthday guy. I don't even like birthdays.
What it was Leslie's turn to organize the birthday party of the month. Mm-hmm. And she's like, let's go study where everybody declines.
Dude, Leslie rules. In that situation, Leslie's my favorite. Leslie's like, I know how. I can 2 birds, 1 stone this situation.
I planned a whole thing, but everybody said no. So
I definitely planned it. I definitely planned it. And finished our study for the month. Who's your favorite?
Leslie rocks.
And then Dave's just like, Leslie's not my favorite. I don't know. I don't know why it had to happen this month. I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm not a big birthday guy, so I guess if it was going to happen during anybody's month, it could be my month, but it just seems weird. I don't know.
All right, study 3. Study 3, we're back to similar to study 1, but the difference is we're not going to the museum. Now, we've got dinner on Saturday night at a local restaurant where a celebrity chef is cooking.
Whoa.
What? Bobby Flay? In the house?
Wow.
Come on.
That's pretty cool. But if it's a 7 o'clock dinner, we could probably still go to the museum though. You could do that. We could do it in the early afternoon.
We're not, you already declined the museum. We're not going to the museum.
I didn't really decline the museum.
They told me to.
Yeah, I was instructed to decline an imaginary museum. I'm talking about the real museum. I'm talking about you and me, Jeff. I'm talking about you and me going to the museum, bud. We've never gone to the museum together.
I think I want to go to the celebrity chef thing.
I mean, we can do both, bud.
It could be anybody. It could be Rachel Ray. It could be Rachel Ray.
Listen, we can do both. We go to the museum around noon, pal. That's the museum's a good midday thing.
I feel like I got to get myself ready for Ray. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got to prepare all day for Ray.
Rachel Ray's got that laid back vibe though.
I know, that's what makes me so nervous.
I feel like it would be like like a nice casual establishment. Certainly you could dress up for the museum, you fucking slob. It's the fucking museum. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I don't know. All right. So we're going to the celebrity chef thing. Okay. We got 3 groups this time.
Do you really not want to go to the museum with me?
I would love to go to if we're talking seriously, let's go to the museum. I love museums.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
All right.
I was doing a comedic bit.
All right, great.
But if we're talking real talk, I want to go to let's go to the museum.
No, let's never joke. Let's promise to never joke around about the museum.
Okay.
All right. The museum's off limits as far as joking. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, cool.
So 3 groups in study 3, inviter, invitee, and impartial observer.
Real.
Alex is here. We brought Alex.
Holy shit. We created a human clone with a soul. Wait, guys, I feel like you're burying the lead here. No. We created a human clone and we found out how to imbue him with the soul because we found out where the soul is.
Right. But we needed that for our invitation study.
Yeah.
Just the important part is that no one has studied invitations like this before.
Yeah. We have to do the work.
Important part.
No, who's the third group?
Third group is the impartial observer, not involved, not an inviter, not an invitee, just someone to judge. What do you think? If you heard
a couples counselor.
Exactly. If you heard that nice old Alex over there invited Anthony Carboni to the museum, or in this case, the celebrity chef night, and they turned it down, what would you think would happen? Do you think less likely to be invited again? Do you think it's going to cause anger? All that same stuff, right?
So this is literally like an old educational film about etiquette. And like the guy in the suit walks in and turns towards the camera and is like, what would you do if Johnny invited you to the museum? Would you go?
That's right. Right. All right.
No, because Johnny doesn't use Brill hair cream.
So, but the results were exactly the same. only the invitee who was forced to decline thought that people would get pissed.
Shit isn't real. Like they all know it's not real. They still haven't done I still don't believe
Study 4.
Okay, study four. Yeah. Study 4. This time, let's try 2 observers and 3 invitees and 1. Okay, now this time, now in study 73, we're going to do a written invitation.
That says RSVP on it.
Yeah, and in study 75, we're going to do an evite.
That's right. And you got to eliminate all the variables,
that's
Anthony.
Right. But in study 76, it's one of those ones where they can tell that you've opened the evite.
All right. Yes. I'm glad you're finally on board with the science, the hard-hitting science. All right, study 4.
Mm-hmm.
We're back to hypothetical town.
Sure. Unlike all this real shit they've been doing.
We are asked, the participants have to consider a real friend. Think of a real friend that you have.
All right. Now we're getting down to brass tacks.
Inviting you. Yeah.
But it's not real. It's not really happening.
It's not actually happening, but pretend it is.
All right.
And think of the real friend in your head.
Where are they inviting me?
Are you thinking about real friend? Are you thinking of them?
Yeah. Where are they inviting me to?
This one. What did they invite them to? This one. This is I think it's, a dinner. This is a dinner again.
Oh, okay.
But it's not hypothetical friend Alex. It's a list of they had to list the name of a friend who was used in their imagination.
Right. Real friend, imaginary dinner.
Yeah. And the key here is that they had to then, in addition to rating the potential negative outcomes, they had to answer questions that assessed that examined the focus, basically it examined their thoughts. Mm-hmm. So basically they're focus on the act of declining, focus on internal thoughts. So basically it's like, how much would your real life friend think about the deliberation that went into your head before? How much would they think about why you're saying no? How much would they consider all the reasons? How much would they consider your deliberation process?
Uh-huh.
And how much would your friend focus on the fact that you declined the invitation? So it's basically like, how much would they focus on the outcome versus how much would they focus on what you were thinking at the time?
Sure. So this is the first one that I'm actually interested in, because this to me feels like you're still doing a hypothetical, but this hypothetical is about a real person, and it's about like, how would this person that you know very well react? So I'm interested in how that one turned out. So it was consistent with the negative ramifications. Mm-hmm. Invitees thought it was going to be worse than inviters. That's been consistent throughout. But invitees had a higher focus on behavior versus thoughts. So the invitees thought they were going to think more about the fact that I did it rather than the reasons why I did it. But inviters were like, I would assume they would think more about that they would think I was thinking more about their reasons than the fact that they did. Well, it's that one of the things where it's like they had to decline. Oh, I hope they're okay. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like that first initial thing, like, oh, I hope everything's all right. I'm sure, maybe something bad happened. And if something bad happened, I'm sure they'll tell me when they can. I'm not going to pry. Yeah. That sort of thing. I get that.
So again, consistent with their hypothesis. Now, study 5 is my favorite. This one, I think, is the one that actually lands with some weight for me.
Because they said, fuck it. They said, fuck it. And they studied something else entirely. They said, we've been studying the same shit all day, 4 different ways. You know what we're doing? We're going to the museum. We're going to go look at some dinosaur bones. Let's study some dinosaur bones, guys. Yeah.
They did a whole study about the quickest route to the museum.
I bet it's biking. Oh my God. Can you imagine biking to the museum?
That's a delightful Saturday.
Holy shit, dude.
Delightful. All right. Study 5 is awesome because they said they used what they call a moderation approach. So it moderates the results. The way they did study 5 is they asked every participant, instead of separating them into groups, they still separated them into groups, but they asked every participant to think about it both ways. So they asked people to do all the rating of how you would feel. Mm-hmm. They would go, okay, you're inviting Alex to the museum. Right. Alex says no.
You go through all the things, and then afterwards they go, okay.
Now Alex is inviting you.
Right.
How do you feel about declining?
I would think that this one would have something to do with in what order you're asked.
Exactly right.
Because when they do the second one, you're already hip to what they're doing.
Well, when you do the second one, you've lived in the shoes of the inviter. You've experienced, so in one of them you go, oh man, they're going to be so mad when I say no. And they're like, okay, well, what about if you ask them and they say no? It's like, well, I wouldn't be so mad.
Yeah.
That's what happened, right? That's the results they got. In the second one, where it's like, if you invited them and they said no, how would you feel? Oh, I wouldn't be so mad. Okay, well, what if they invited you and you said no? Well, I guess they wouldn't be so mad.
Yeah.
Because I've just imagined myself in their shoes.
I've decentered myself in the situation. I'm no longer the main character.
And that is exactly what played out. In the second scenario, when you were inviter then invitee, the results were not skewed. They had exactly the same assessment of negative reactions.
You mean if human beings learned from their personal experiences and removed their ego from situations and simply used the knowledge that they had of the way the world works, they would be better off? And the soul is actually in the head, and they figured that out. This is a good study.
5 studies later, we have solved the infernal mystery of the invitation decline.
Jeff, can I tell you something?
That this is awesome and time well spent by all?
This really feels like it really feels like a normal day for me when I was a preschool teacher. It really does feel like just a normal day of me teaching the preschool kids, where it's like, now, okay, so you just took that from Danny. Now, what if Danny took something from you? I don't know. You don't know? You don't know, or you do know? You don't know, or you do know? Like, this is what it feels like they're doing, the scientists. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, so then what's the matter? If you got invited and you said no, I don't know, I guess they'd be probably really mad. Would they? Would they, bud? What if you invited somebody? Would you be mad, or would you understand? I guess I'd understand. Yeah, right? Because we understand our friends. Right, bud? Like, this is what it feels like to me.
Next month's entry in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, Interpersonal Relations and Group Processes is a hard-hitting study on whether thank you feels nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It may not always feel nice to say sorry, but isn't it nice to have sorry said to you? You know, even if it's not a big deal, bud. You know, it doesn't hurt anything to say it. Good for them. Hey,
I love this. I love this.
No, this is the sort of stuff. I mean, I'm goofing because it's we're not figuring out like quantum entanglement or anything here, but
right.
These are the social sciences that are figuring out day-to-day little things like this. There are things that we like. There are little things that we experience every day, and we go, ugh. Is this normal? Is this normal? Is it normal to feel this way? And that's if we even take the time to interrogate our feelings at all, right?
Right. Yes.
And so it's nice. It is nice to have this stuff like laid out for you and be like, hey, you know what? You are that part of your brain that you consider the logical adult part of your brain that says, hey, it's okay, is the one that's correct. Don't worry about the other little voice that's like, it's ruining everything and you're ruined and your friendship is ruined. Don't worry. We did the science. Sort of, And
well, to be fair, there's a whole section on, shortcomings of the study, things that they, obviously it's all self-reported, and there's a lot of, they're clear about.
No, listen, I love when at the end of the study, what they say is like, listen, now we know this is bad study, but we did but there are numbers here.
There's a not small chance all of this is bullshit, but
listen, self-report, like anytime a study, I love when you get to the end of a study and it's like, now, of course, this is all based on self-reporting. And it's just like, why'd you get up in the morning, bud? Why didn't you call in, go to the museum?
But I love the approach to something, like you said, that we all just sort of take for granted and nobody's really interrogating. And here it is, 20 pages of detailed, intense, scrutinized. There's equations. I didn't even get to the equations.
No.
There's equations in here,
Please. There's nothing better than an audio explanation of equations.
And I know we tried that before. I don't even think we released that.
No,
one.
We never released that episode, and we never will. Fuck that
Here's
episode.
The conclusion. Conclusion. In closing, we hope that readers consider our findings the next time they are extended an invitation, but feel uncertain about the prospect of declining.
Well, number one, couldn't be me. But
not made for you. Not made for you, Anthony.
But number two, thanks for doing the work for all the people out there who are Jeffs and not Anthonys. You know what I mean?
That's right. This is one for me.
Not everything's for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes
for me.
You go to a movie, you watch a TV show, you go, that's great. It's not for me.
Yeah.
This study,
it's fine.
Not for me. But hey,
there's an ass for every seat. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And you could send this link to your partner, Jeff, and you can say, here it is. We're okay.
Yeah.
And she'll go,
the problem is,
and she'll go, oh, thank God.
I would send her, hey, would you please read this? An invitation to read it, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And then she'd feel obligated.
I can't. I'm tired. I just simply don't feel like it. She would never say that. She would say, okay. And then for days, she'd think about how she hadn't gotten to it yet. And you wouldn't ask her if she's gotten to it yet.
No.
But you'd be like, it's weird that she hasn't brought it up yet. It means that she probably hasn't gotten to it. I should ask her if she's gotten to it, but I don't want to pressure her. She's been busy.
Invitations.
I feel like that just got too real for a second. We had to pull back. We pulled back. It's fine. It's fine. We're out of it now. Imagine we're at the museum, buddy.
I want to go to the museum.
I want to go to the museum real bad now.
Yeah, I like the museum.
Ugh. Go to any museum, really.
Yeah.
I feel good about this. It's it is a good time of the year to release this, particularly with New Year's, the biggest pressure night, I think, for social interaction.
Yes.
One of the biggest, where it's just like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you going to be? How are you ringing in the new year? Blah, blah, boop, 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 boop. It's like,
yeah, that's why I had children, so I can be in bed by 9.
That's right. What do we do? What are you doing for New Year's? Fucking being a parent. Sorry.
Trying to get some goddamn sleep.
Oh no. It turns out that I'm just going to have to stay home on New Year's. Oh no. I'm so sorry, everybody. Oh no. Yeah. So if you're out there and you're feeling bad for declining any social interactions or appointments this holiday season,
say no.
Don't stress. They're
you
fine with
no.
it. You're fine with it.
People don't mind. People understand.
Yeah, you're still a good person.
Yeah.
Do you know what would make you a bad person though? Not supporting podcast. Whoa.
Yeah, we have one little invitation that you should definitely not say no to.
Whoa.
And that is because we'll feel awful.
Oh, so bad.
It's so simple to help ensure this podcast continues. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. There is a very handy dandy way to send us some money. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. Like, for example, $1 a month, which, let's be honest, it's not very much.
It's not much.
Gets you access to the Discord where cool folks are sharing stories like this one and so many more. But you can also extend even more support to the show and get even cooler stuff in exchange.
That's right. Things like bonus episodes, extra audio, Q&A sessions with me and Jeff, and so much more. Just head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. You know, $1, you can either support the podcast or you can get one egg.
A single egg?
Yeah. You can
go We're worth an egg, right?
We're worth an egg, I think. I don't know. Eggs are pretty good. Like I could go for an egg right now. Oh,
yeah. Egg at the museum.
An egg at the museum in one of those cups where you crack the egg. Sitting at a little museum cafe. Fuck, dude, we got to go to the museum.